Today's one is a life tip. It's for those of you who, when faced with an obstacle, look at the obstacle and say, I don't feel like doing that today. Nothing changes unless we change, and we can change only if our actions do. That's not something that magically happens, but comes about by deliberate choice. A choice to do things differently by way of solid daily actions. While renewing your mind is important, thinking differently cannot by itself bring you to where you want to be. Action must be right there in the mix. There's a phrase I like to remind myself of. Motion creates emotion. In other words, feelings of well-being follow action. They don't precede it. If you are perpetually waiting for feelings to arrive, to feel like doing something, before you'll allow yourself to take action, then you'll be waiting for the rest of your life. It's not going to happen. It's like waiting for the law of gravity to pause for a while, just to accommodate an idea you have to invent the airplane or the rocket. No. You must build your airplane or rocket to overcome that law of gravity that has already been set in place. That's how life works. That's why you must overwhelm your personal gravity, also known as your feelings, in order to make real those things that you want to make happen. Once you attack that mountain and start to climb, then the feelings will come as a result of having started, of having put your idea into physical action. Let me tell you, I wandered around for years waiting to feel like doing something before actually doing something. I had no adult in my life capable of sitting me down and showing me how to tackle obstacles, how to overcome that personal gravity that made me feel powerless and weak. At the start of every year, or on a birthday, it's easy to get carried away on the emotion of a new beginning or a fresh start. The idea of change can release those feel-good endorphins. The question is, however, who is that person that you need to become in order to create those things that you want in your life? You have to ask yourself, what does that person do every day? Continually scroll through social media? Spend hours on the sofa staring mindlessly at a screen? Does that person argue with strangers on the internet? No? Well, in that case, you shouldn't be doing these things either. Usually, making certain life-altering changes requires eliminating certain behaviors, cutting them out and going cold turkey. One fell swoop, no negotiation. If Netflix, for example, is keeping you up late at night, affecting your sleep patterns and next day energy, then you need to cancel your subscription, at least until you've got that compulsive stay-up-late behavior under control. If you do have such compulsive patterns that dominate your life, then you are a slave to that compulsion. To use a biblical analogy, the Israelites could not enter the promised land until they broke free of their slavery under Pharaoh. Some of us can become friends with our own personal enslavement. Maybe it's cigarettes, maybe late nights, TV, eating habits, or alcohol. The list is endless. If you're a slave in some area of your life, then you don't have full agency over it, and your life direction will be controlled by that slave master, compelling you to indulge in that behavior repeatedly. If you want real change in your life, then you have to free yourself from these little enslavements. If the thought of getting rid of your TV, for example, horrifies you, that you cannot live without it, then you are a slave to that device. To identify your own particular enslavement, simply substitute any other item or habit instead of the TV. Look around you when you're out and about. People on the streets or public transport continually swiping on their phones. This is real, genuine addiction, comparable to any pernicious drug or gambling habit. It may not steal your money in the same way that drugs or alcohol do, but it steals your time, which is your most valuable resource, because it is finite. You can always earn back money, but you cannot earn your time back. Windows of opportunity will not stay open in your life forever. You may not always have your health either. If you really want change or want to walk in a new direction, then you have to be willing to show certain behaviors, objects, or even relationships the door. If you find that you continually and compulsively do something and then feel guilty about it later, there's a good chance that this is a red flag, your inner voice pointing out something that's holding you back. Pay attention to these red flags when they pop up. Write them down. Start thinking of strategies you can implement to break their hold on you. You will hear the voice of resistance listing all the plausible reasons why you must keep these things in your life, negotiating on their behalf. Don't listen. That's the voice of your inner bitch, that loser that wants to keep you trapped and enslaved, stuck right where you are in your life. If you keep on giving in to that voice, where you are now, you will still be in 5 years, or 10, maybe even longer, and a lot older. That personal gravity of yours is not going anywhere. It's here to stay. You've been given intelligence and a creative thinking process that can enable you to work out a way to overcome that gravity, that weight that's keeping you grounded and out of commission. You just have to start asking yourself the right questions. When you do that, your mind gets to work to figure out the right answers. Then, you get to work and start climbing. It's that simple. It's not rocket science.